Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. We're keeping the party going. We're here to talk about the Ravens' victory last night over the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, the Ravens' victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Say it again. The Ravens' victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, Glenn.
Felt real good. And let me tell you, it's funny. When I was talking to a buddy of mine today, he said, "How was this? How was the stadium? How were the fans?" Because he said he couldn't really hear much on his TV, and that's disappointing. Because let me tell you, the flock showed out last night. I mean, you can kind of hear my voice is a little bit shaky right now because we were screaming our heads off, and so was the rest of every person in that building. So shout out to the flock, came out there and got it done. It was impressive. So I mean, just the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. So if the TV broadcast didn't capture it, the place was absolutely rocking, and I fully believe that it impacted the game.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, like you said, it was rocking out there. Just electric. I can't wait to get back. And it definitely, I mean, I'm just essentially repeating what you're saying, but definitely a big impact. It was great to be out there, great to be amongst fans. People were lit, man. Oh my gosh. Baltimore was going crazy in a good way. And I thought I'll tell you what, the Ravens staff did a great job at making that an event. I mean, with Flow Rider halftime, with the touches of the Farmer in the Dell with Omar, and then you had Ray coming out there. I mean, they did it up for this game. It was an absolute blast. Man, we can't wait. We can't wait to get out there again. And also, I mean, shout out. We said it last night, our instant reaction, but shout out to those that came out and hung out with us in the tailgate. Man, we gave away a ton of stuff, had a raffle and everything else. Man, it was just an absolute blast. It was a whole lot of fun, for sure. And I bet you a lot of people won a lot of money last night, Glenn.
Well, I hope that if they were on the right side of things.
That's right.
I mean, I tell you what, if you took the Ravens straight up, you made a couple of dollars.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the best place to do your sports betting is on mybookie.ag. Nothing like it.
Tell them about it, Jimbo.
Yeah, man. Literally, guys, you get on there, you sign up to $1,000, and if you use our promo code 410, they will match your first deposit up to $1,000. So you can go smaller. I'm not saying you need to go all in with $1,000. Go in $5. They'll match it. But the point is, you could get an additional $1,000 by simply using our promo code 410. Go on there. Look, you play, they pay. Right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. You play, they pay. So go check out mybookie.ag right now, today, this evening. Get on there as soon as you can. Get it in. And make sure you use the promo code 410. They are the sponsor for this show tonight and week 2, week 3, and week 4. So we're happy to be partnered up with them because, you talk about feeling good winning. Nothing like winning a couple dollars too, right? It's a good feeling.
Oh, nothing better. Absolutely. But yes, let's talk some of the last night's game, Jimbo. I want to talk about, and the place I have to start, Jimbo, is the offensive line, right? I mean, going into that game, it was the talk of the town with Stanley battling another injury at that left tackle spot, and of course, coming off the game in Vegas where the whole group struggled. I mean, even Stanley, if he was in there this past Sunday, he still had some making up to do for what happened the previous game against the Raiders, where both of them we're getting absolutely torched on the corners. And then now we have this switching around. Big Al goes back to left. We got the Swiss Army knife, Patrick McCarry going in at right tackle. And then kind of a timeshare at left guard between Ben Powers and Ben Cleveland. And, man, I could not have been more impressed, man. I mean, first of all, how did Big Al looked like a completely different guy on there. Let me just tell you how good he was in week 2.
He's our highest rated offensive player, wasn't he?
Yes, he has an 89.5 rating after turning in an absolute stinker of a performance the week before. I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but my question, maybe this is too early to ask, but what the heck do we do if and when Ronnie Stanley's back out there? Because I don't know if we want to see Big Al back at right after how McCarry played, but what do we do?
Look, normally I have a pen on the show. Now I have a pen and a highlighter. I don't know how these things work. I need to keep things out of my hands. But to answer your question, Glenn, I think that right, like, what do we do? It's a conundrum that we're in. I don't think Ronnie's coming back very soon. John talked about that in his post game, and he said Ronnie was not close to playing
Yeah.
this week, which is a big problem. We have a solution to that problem, but even at his best, if Ronnie's actually healthy, he's a better football player. And I think at this point in his career, Alejandro Villanueva would readily admit that, right? However, I will say this. What it does to me is it gives me hope that he can get it done on the right side. I think it's just, I kind of closed the door on this after the first game. Maybe it wasn't a matter of reps. I think some of it could come down to reps and experience, because the left tackle position. Shout out Robert Wiggins. We appreciate the love there. But for sure, I mean, it's traditionally more difficult, right?
Yeah.
So if he was able to play that well at left, and it wasn't just pure adrenaline and fire from being torched the week before, then don't you think he has the chance, as he continues to rep it out on the right side, to be some sort of semblance from a productivity standpoint of what he can do on the left? Like, I don't know. Well, that makes sense in my head logically, but I don't play the position, so I don't know if that's possible.
Well, I think the only problem with that is he's not going to be getting any reps there, because he's going to be playing left tackle until Stanley does come back. So then he's got to try and make that transition again. So I'm concerned in the sense that I don't. But here's the good news. I think Makari played well enough to where you could leave him in it right. And Big Al can be your swing tackle. I mean, I know it's an relatively expensive swing tackle.
Well, and he can come in when you want to play big, right? We saw that a lot last night.
Absolutely. And I think what's great about it is, like you mentioned, Ronnie Stanley doesn't seem like he's necessarily going to be back very soon. So the good thing is he doesn't need to worry about rushing. You know, there's not going to be any pressure like, man, you got to get out there, man. We're a turnstile at left tackle. It looks like they can feel pretty good of letting Stanley fully recover and even giving him that extra week, right? Like when they say, are you ready this week? Is he good this week? All right, give it another week, and then we'll get him out there, you know? So I think it just makes it easier for him to take the time to, you know, kind of get himself 100% ready, and then let Big Al swing it, you know, go into that swing tackle role. Shout out to Billy Seals. Just win, baby. Good to see you boys. It's good to see you in the chat too, Billy. That was an absolute crazy game last night. And I think it's the Hack says Bowers is their best. I guess he means Bowser, I'm assuming. But he says Bowers is their best coverage linebacker. Been saying since early in his career they need to utilize him in the middle of the field more. And you know what? I mean, I don't think it'd be tough to argue that he's our best cover guy, considering his productivity. When he is asked to cover, he had a pick in 3 straight games last year. He certainly has the numbers to back that up. But any chance? I mean, I guess it would be interesting to all of a sudden put him in the middle in those situations. That's a totally different responsibility, much tougher to guard the middle of the field, because you know, typically he's in a flat where his responsibilities aren't very broad. But in the middle of the field, you got a lot more responsibility, and a lot more different things can come your way.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I don't know if I see it happening. I think they need, for the long term, they need Queen and Malik to develop. Right? Like, they need them to take on those roles. We can't be finding Band-Aids for those guys anymore. We're too invested, certainly in Queen with a first-round pick. We need him to be able to do that and to develop in that type of player. One thing I'll say about his development, I know sometimes he gets torched because he has, you know, people talk about his bad technique, the mental side of his game is not great, this and the other. He's flying around. He looks fast. He looks athletic. He doesn't seem to be hesitating very much. And so I think he's still making strides, but I don't think we see Bowser in the middle. I don't see that happening. While it would be interesting, and I get it theoretically, I think we need these guys in the middle to step up and play their position.
Yeah. No, I think I definitely agree with you. But yeah, I mean, talking about that offensive line, it's really going to be something interesting to watch. And also, you know, I touched briefly on the timeshare at left guard. And I know that Christopher Shook was really loving what he was seeing out of Ben Cleveland. He was mentioning, I think, during the game, after the game, and I think I seen him in here. man, it was good to see the big fella out there moving bodies out. I mean, look, we like Ben Powers because he's a Raven. He does some things really really well. But it was sure nice to see Big Ben Cleveland out there, and I know he's got some stuff he's got to work on. He certainly has to get better. John Harbaugh touched on it, said from a technique standpoint, he definitely has some growing to do. But tell me what you saw when you saw the big fella in there at left guard, Jimbo.
Man, that was awesome. I said it last night. There's just something reassuring about knowing you got the biggest guy on the field 9 times out of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not too many football players are bigger than Ben Cleveland. So when he takes a step forward and he puts his mass on you, you're going to feel it. It's just that simple, right? And so, when you boil football down to its simplest terms, it's the big guys up front moving the other big guys up front, right? You're redefining the line of scrimmage. And man, at the very least, we know that if he's healthy, he can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and he's only going to get better, right, Jimbo?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it is. So it's going to be interesting to see. I want to go back and look at some plays where he was pulling. I didn't see one at the time. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Certainly, I haven't gone back and done an in-depth study quite yet. But I would like to see that and see what his movement is like, see what they're asking him to do. And I'm sure that will continue. His role will continue to expand as he plays in there. But look, at the end of the day, we said this at the beginning of the season. Our expectation is that if we want to be our best offensive lineman, he needs to be our left guard. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's what it has to be. If we want to be our best, he needs to be our left guard. He was out there, had the mohawk back, ready to go, just like he had in college. Was looking mean, looking nasty. I loved his tweet today. He's shout out to the fans for making a small town guy's dream come true, playing at M&T Bank Stadium and things like that. That was cool, man. And I'm hoping he continues to develop as a player. But the offensive line, to me, it's funny because everyone's talking about the Lamar Mahomes narrative, and I get it. But there's two stories in this game to me: the defense and the O-line. So yeah, the O-line is a huge deal in this game. A lot of guys played really well. I thought that Bozeman blocked his butt off. I thought that Zeitler looked good. They looked like they had the will. And I know that that's cheesy, but I mean, sometimes there is a quantifiable difference when you have it. You know what I mean? Like when you just have sheer desire to get the job done more than the guys in front of you. And I felt like they did. I feel like if you gave those guys on the defensive line truth serum, they would admit it.
Yeah, and look, they have Chris Jones, who's a dominant player, right? One of the most dominant front seven guys in the league, and some people say he's second behind only Aaron Donald as far as what he can do from the interior of that defensive line. So he's a monster, and the guy recorded 0 statistics last night, nothing, 0 donuts other than the minutes and snap count. Donuts across the board. So shout out to that offensive line. Somebody, I think Gavin mentioned earlier, Zeitler's block on that 4th and 1. 100% agree. He was a huge reason as to why Lamar was able to pick that up. So shout out to Zeitler and shout out to Giro, man. I mean, look, this system. Look, 251 yards on the ground, guys. 251 on the ground.
Getting it done.
With our 4th string, 5th string, and 6th string running backs. I mean, again, Lamar was the leading rusher, but Tyson Williams, 4th string running back, not expected to make the team, goes out there and puts up 77 yards. Murray puts up 36 and a touch. And then Freeman with the big 31-yard run. Didn't get a ton of carries, but certainly made the most of the 2 he got. But yeah, shout out to that offensive line and that run game and Greg Roman for calling a really, really nice game.
Yeah, King, how you feeling about Greg Roman tonight, dude?
I think he gave him some credit. Somebody gave him credit tonight. I think it was King, and he's going to have to correct us, but if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw King give some credit. So shout out to King for giving the credit where it's due.
I don't know. Do it again, King. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
hey,
but yeah,
let's stay on the offense. Go ahead.
No, let's do it. Let's stay on the offense.
I was going to stay on the offense. I want to talk about Lamar.
Okay, I like that.
I want to talk about the man under center. I think everyone will agree that Greg called a good game. All right, and there you go. All right, yeah. King, I like it. Yeah, sometimes you got to give respect when respect is earned, right?
Yep.
But I want to talk about Lamar Jackson and what you took away from his game last night. Certainly made some plays that no one else in the NFL can make. I think it's fair to say. Currently, he has 10 missed tackles this season. The closest quarterback to that has 2. So look, I mean, and then on top of that, to be able to make the passes that he made last night, and it's funny. This is the craziest thing. You saw this as well. Him and Mahomes had the same amount of total yards last night.
Exact
Manifested
same.
themselves, yeah, and same touchdowns. Manifested themselves totally differently. And that's been my whole thing. Is that in life, if you want to get somewhere, like if you look at it mathematically, at the end of the day, it just breaks down to an equation, right? Lamar
Yep.
Jackson's equation is rare. It's one of a kind, but he gets there like nobody else. So I think that's really interesting. But overall, what were your takes on Lamar? Because to me, he was in. I said it 1,000 times. He was in full on Omar mode last night. Look, when the game needed, when we needed a big play, said I'm keeping the ball, and I like that he's not going into. He doesn't care about the contract. He's not worried about getting hurt. He's not worried about the narrative, this, that, and the other. Is he a passer? He doesn't care. He wants to win football games.
Yep.
And he knew that was the best way to get it done in big moments last night, and he did it up. But what did you think about his game last night?
Oh man, I just thought he was the best player on the field. I mean, people can point to the interceptions, and that one was a horrible decision. The pass down the middle of the field to Hollywood was in triple coverage. Should not have thrown that ball. He said it himself. He tried to get it in there and tried to kind of. He needed to be a little bit more patient. He tried to make something happen a little too quickly. So that was a poor throw. But outside of that, I mean, look, that pick six was not his fault. Sammy fell down. I mean, Sammy fell down. It was a timing route. He had to get the ball out before the break. So the ball was pretty much already on its way out as Sammy was losing his footing. So I don't really blame Lamar too much on that. Obviously, it hurt. Third play of the game, you throw a pick six, kind of took some wind out of the stadium there. But I mean, outside, talk about not flinching. I mean, bouncing back. This guy, you can't give up many possessions when you're playing the Chiefs, right? You just can't waste possessions.
Right.
You throw a pick six on your first one and you bounce back in the way they did. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And let's be honest, the defense, and we're going to get into them later, they had moments, but overall, they gave up 35 points. I mean, 28, I guess, because 7 was on defense. They got some timely stops, which we're going to get into, and shout out to them for that. But this isn't like this. They needed to score. The Ravens needed to score. Lamar Jackson needed to get that ball in the end zone, and he just did it any way he needed to. He was running the ball effectively. I mean, the way he was getting low inside those inside runs, he gets low for how tall he is, and you almost lose him when you're at the game, and then he just squirts out of there, and all of a sudden he's in the open field making guys miss. I thought he was clutch. I mean, it's hard to say. You just run out of adjectives, right? Or to describe what Lamar Jackson can do with the ball in his hands. It's absolutely crazy. I see people still, and he'll never shed all the haters, right? I mean, the haters will always be there. We got one in the comments right now. He's being, it's just what it is. He somehow, look, the Ravens have how many starters out right now, Jimbo? I mean, how many players are they missing? The Kansas City Chiefs are 100% healthy. Got 2 stars back last game, as a matter of fact, Tyrann Mathieu and Frank Clark. They never lose in September. They never did. And Lamar Jackson just willed that team to a victory. I mean, it's just crazy to me that you can look at that game and think anything other than Lamar Jackson is Superman and he should have had a cape on.
Look, you know what this is making me think of? I saw a decent amount of Chiefs fans pouting last night. Not all of them. They're pretty salty. But I'll say this. Right now, the Chiefs, not Chiefs fans, the Chiefs are a little bit like, I'm going to go real nerdy on you, Glenn. But
okay.
Dudley, remember Harry Potter's cousin Dudley? The big fat one?
I don't.
That got everything. He was super spoiled.
Yeah, I do know. Yep,
got everything, right? I had 37 presents last year. Why only have 36 this year? Just eating cake all the time. Just fat and happy. Like, not literally, right? Like, he was literally. But my point is that at some point you get fat and happy, right? You're civilized, Rock. Like, that's a real thing.
Yep.
It happens all the time. And look, we haven't done it yet. We don't have that opportunity to get to it. You know what I mean? We haven't had the opportunity to get to the point of the mountain. They've already been there. So my point is that I feel like we outwilled them last night in every single way. We just outwilled them. Like, I mean, you talked about Lamar willed us to a win. The defense willed us to a win. The way that Oweh was able to make that play, the way that Alejandro Villanueva went from getting torched the week before to coming out to being our highest rated offensive player. I mean, on and on and on. Just go down the list. You talked about Tyson Williams. We were coming out the woodworks with players, and all of them were hungrier than anyone on the Kansas City side.
Yeah. I mean, look, Jimbo, let me just say this. The Ravens, and shout out to Davis, our newest patron. Shout out to Davis Mooley, I think is how you pronounce it. I could be pronouncing that incorrectly. Muhly. So shout out to Davis. Appreciate the support. That's awesome. Thank you so much. But let me just say this. The Ravens had 4 true corners on the roster last night. 4, Jimbo. They had Marlon Humphrey, Anthony Averett, Tavon Young, and a guy named Kevon Seymour, who I only saw because I believe he got a penalty call. Or no, he got hurt. That's right. He got hurt when he was the gunner. Didn't even make it off the line of scrimmage. Remember that? The two guys. And he never even got past the line. I don't know what happened. But so pretty much they had 3 corners, Jimbo. They had 3 corners, and they played the Kansas City Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, with freaking Travis Kelce, with Mecole Hardman. And Tyreek Hill had 3 catches for 14 yards. We had 3 corners, guys, 3. And, you know what I mean? It's crazy. So they definitely stepped up in big moments with a depleted group. And I tell you what, Jimbo, Anthony Averett, I don't know where he's going to be playing, but he's going to be getting paid. And I don't know if it's going to be in Baltimore.
Well, I want to talk about that because I think we'll have to do an episode on this. I was thinking about this today. I don't know what the details of Marcus Peters' contract are, but when we do an episode on it, I will certainly be prepared. But there is a chance. I'm not saying I want it to happen. What I'm saying is that there is a chance, depending on what our commitment is to Peters, that it could be Averett, the one they decide to pay instead of re-upping Peters, right?
Interesting. Okay.
You know, I think that's definitely something that we're going to need to continue to talk about. But that you're right. The reason I bring that up is because he is absolutely worthy of a contract. And as long as he continues to play the way he's playing and continue to stay healthy. The cool thing about Averett to me is that every year he's gotten better. I know you can say that about a lot of guys, but he's certainly gotten visibly better, healthier too. But he looks, I feel like there's something about him playing with Marlon, right? That's it. That's been his boy since they were in Alabama. Yeah. I think it gives him that, you know, that sense of confidence. And so I like Anthony Averett. I wasn't a big fan when a few years ago, to be completely honest with you. I didn't think he had what it took to make it in the league. He seemed a little slow to me, but look, you're keeping up with Tyreek Hill. You're not slow. And he was on him like white on rice last night. That was great to see, man. So yeah, a lot of huge stories in this game. You're absolutely right. To wipe out Tyreek Hill.
I mean, who would have ever thought with 3 healthy corners, really? I mean, you can tell me about Kevon Seymour, who I only saw get hurt. We had 3 corners. We had 3 freaking corners, and Tavon Young was banged up a lot of that game. I mean, we kept seeing him going in and out. We saw our Darius Washington playing in that final drive when they needed a stop. We saw him in the slot. We saw a ton of Brandon Stevens after Deshaun Elliott got his bell rung and was forced out of the game, which I know he was really not happy about having to leave that game. He was pissed. He expected, I think, to go back into it. And shout out to Mr. B More GMR. Love watching you guys. Let's go Ravens. Absolutely, let's go Ravens. Right. So it's just there's so many guys stepped up and made big plays. I know the defense gave up some points, but that's just what it is. I mean, you're going to expect that when you're playing a team like the Chiefs, who seemingly can score at will. But the Ravens defense did just enough. And let's get into it. Let's talk about the guy who was really the star of the defense, the guy who made the 2 biggest plays, the game-changing plays, Jimbo, and that's Odafe Oweh. I mean, how cool is it that in the game that Big O Crybaby comes back? And somebody asked earlier, you're damn right I was booing his big sloppy ass. I was booing him out there. Oh, I was letting him hear it. I was like, I mean, you can kind of hear my voice. I'm surprised it's as good as it is because I was screaming my head off. How fitting is it that his first time back in Baltimore, Odafe Oweh, the guy who's of course they got a little bit more than just Odafe, but he was
Right.
the prime piece in that trade package. Both games made his presence felt. In this game, he causes the Anthony Averett the Tavon Young interception when he's sacking Patrick Mahomes. And then, of course, makes the game-saving forced fumble play on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, pokes his hand out there. Not just does he force it, but then he jumps on it and secures it. So he did both, So, I mean, and that's not all he did. I mean, this guy was great against the run. He was stacking on the edge and playing absolutely phenomenal. I was so impressed with Odafe Oweh, and we're just scratching the surface, Jimbo.
Yeah, no, Odafe Oweh, I'll say this. Number one, if he continues to play like this, everyone proved me wrong in that I thought I said it. Like, if you guys go back, it's on tape. Obviously, I was disappointed, right? Like, wow. Obviously, that's a thing now because I thought that was a terrible pick. But I also did say the first conclusion I came to was that he's gonna set the edge, at the very least. And what I'm most impressed with is all of the ways that he has found a way to make an impact on the game. I mean, the way he got his hand in there on that run play, the way that he DK in the building.
You see that look of surprise?
Oh, that's awesome. So the way that he got his hand on the football, the way that he pressured Pat for that interception, I mean, so many ways that he's affecting the game where he's not just a Ngakoue type guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's not a Matt Judon type guy. Like, he's those two guys and then some smashed into one person. So, look, I'll say this, EDC, I'm sorry for doubting you. Wink Martindale, I'm sorry for doubting you. However, I still don't think I'm eating the microphone cover, but I think the kid will be incredibly, incredibly disruptive throughout the season. I think 10 sacks is just really hard to do your first year.
Yeah, it's hard to do, but I mean, I tell you what, I expect this guy to continue to make big leaps every week. This is a guy who, a lot of these guys, they are what they are at this point in their career. They're in second, third, fifth. What's up?
No, I was going to say, never doubt the team, never doubt our quarterback. Now, look, I called the win. As much as I doubted Odafe Oweh, your boy right here called the win, Glenn.
Got to give you credit. Most people said you were crazy. I mean, just look at our comments. By the way, those Chiefs fans are real quiet today. And I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone took the time to go back into our comments and ask every single person who doubted us and all those Chiefs fans, where are you at today? I mean, it was the same person, went and talked to every one of them and said, what's going on? Where are y'all at today? I thought this was another level. I thought the Chiefs were on a whole nother level. And I was going to do it. Honestly, I was going into those comments because I was going to do it. And then I said, oh, all right, somebody's already got this taken care of. And that was so cool to see. Shout out. And also, go ahead, Jimbo.
No, when I was just going to say, when I was walking to the car before the game, I walked back to the car. There's a Chiefs fan talking trash to me. I just walked past, started talking trash. I said, look, you guys are good. It's easy to be a Chiefs fan these days. But remember one thing. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. So, look, enjoy it while you can because nothing lasts forever. And let me tell you what, he learned that real quick last night because I'm sure he didn't go home very happy.
No, it was a long traffic jam. And Ashified Gaming. I'm going to say gaming. First of all, big W. No doubt about it. Huge win. The bank was rocking. How do you feel about Oweh? Well, we just talked about Oweh. But needless to say, we're hype about what he's going to be bringing to this team for a long, long time. He said, I think we should add that strip to James' bet total because it was clutch. No, it's all about the stat.
Look,
we can't.
Yeah, if I'm potentially eating something that can send me to the hospital, we ain't changing the bet. Like, I appreciate the shout out and the support, Ashifield Gaming. You can't do that on me now. Come on.
No, we can't change the parameters of the bet.
I already
the bet
went
is
out
about
on a
sacks.
It was unprovoked.
The bet was about sacks, and let's be honest, I'm glad that he got that ball off because if he hadn't, it would have been a sack, but it wouldn't have been a turnover like it was to Tavon. So, and I get this strip. Yeah, that was great, but that was on a running back, so it don't count. but yeah, happy nonetheless, and appreciate the super chat.
Dude, look at
Uh,
Oweh with the love tonight, bro.
dude,
Oweh,
and he
Oweh,
deserves it.
Oweh.
I mean, the guy was absolutely a monster.
Do you
But
think that
what's
for a
that?
rookie's opening game at home, do you think that's one of the best performances in Ravens history? I mean, the kid
Yeah,
balled
you'd have to
out
look out. You'd have to look back on it, but certainly from a defensive perspective, I think it's got to be up there. I thought Torrey had a pretty good opening game, if I remember correctly.
defensively
Um,
speaking.
yeah. If you're just talking defensive, it's pretty hard to look at anyone
Didn't
else. I
Ray
have
have an
to
interception in his first, a game-sealing interception?
probably. I mean, it's Ray. He probably did a lot of things in his first
Right, but
game,
even
just like he
still, I
does.
mean, Odafe had a game-sealing strip. I mean,
in a
essentially
game
game-sealing.
in a game that they say is the one of the big John Harbaugh said it's hard to find a bigger win in recent history. So yeah, I mean you got to give him credit. Like
Hey,
father
everyone's
like
back on the
son says we need to
bandwagon.
pay Lamar now. Super Bowl incoming. Yeah, well, you know what? They both have to agree for one, so we don't really know what the standstill is. It could be from Lamar's end, but I mean, yeah, I think he's definitely not going. Look, don't worry, he ain't going anywhere. He is
Nah.
absolutely going to be in Baltimore for a
Yeah.
very, very long time. So whenever they get it decided, that's fine with me because I'm confident he will be here for a long, long time. But shout out to like father, like son, appreciate the support. But he wasn't the only one in the front that was impressive.
No.
And so I'm going to give you a second to talk about your guy, but I got to throw up a couple more.
Mhm.
Doughboy Gaming says, man, love to see it. Was at the bank. It was loud atmosphere. Big W. Let's go. Absolutely. Loudest I've ever heard that stadium. And I talked to some older gentlemen who was sitting behind us. They said even the playoff game, it didn't touch this game. I mean, this game was abs. I've been there on Thanksgiving, which was crazy. We had 9 sacks against against the Niners, and that was a rocking. Still, though, this place was crazier, no doubt about it. And sure, did it help that Ray Lewis did the squirrel? No doubt about it. Did it help that they put Jacoby and Ray up on the big screen in the big moments at the end? No doubt about it.
Mhm.
The place was absolutely rocking. Billy Seal said, "How about Washington and Stevens? They were part of Tyreek silencing. No doubt about it. I mean,
Yeah.
to see Stevens get that much clock in his second year of playing defense in football is absolutely ridiculous.
You know
The
what
guy
else is
went right
crazy?
in. What's that?
He was directing traffic. Like he's next to Chuck and he's directing 6. He's telling PQ where to go. And I mean,
Crazy.
he's got it here. You can tell.
And he's got it athletically. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about
Now I
that.
will say this: he missed a couple tackles last night, but I
Yeah.
think that the speed of the game and the type. I mean, it takes time, even if you're coming from a
Who
place like
didn't miss a tackle last night defensively? I felt like our
That's
whole
true,
team missed it on that Travis Kelce run.
and that's exactly what I was referring to. I
Oh,
mean, what's his name? Oh, geez, a whiz. Tavon Young. I mean, that was
that was the most
embarrassing.
pathetic effort at a tackle that I've seen in a long time. He didn't
Oh,
really
that was
want to make
embarrassing.
that
Kelsey
tackle.
didn't even like put any effort into the stiff arm, and he
No.
literally piled. I mean, I felt like
One
he
thing
went
I'll
so
say
hard into
this.
the turf that it was
Tavon
like
Young ain't gonna be here next year.
yeah, no
And I
way.
like Tavon, but no. Not with that money, with Averett needing to
Oh,
be
let's see.
paid. I think I would switch that out.
Oh wait,
No
I think we missed
problem.
someone's super chat.
Did we?
That's right. James Shirt says it all. Nobody cares. Work harder. That's right. John said it in the at the end of the game. We need to play our best game next week against the Detroit Lions. That's what it's about. Let's see
No
if we
doubt
can
about it.
find
Did we miss one?
I'm going back. Let's see.
Well, let me just say this while you look for that.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. James,
Okay.
obey or slap your mama. I'm really confused.
I think those are. I think. Well, Old Bay. I think. I think. Is slap your mama a seasoning? I know that it's a Friday reference. But yeah, I'm not. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, obviously, you're an Old Bay fan. Is that correct,
Yes.
Jimbo? Is that safe to say?
Yes.
I mean,
Dude, I put it on my veggies, bro.
I was gonna say there's no doubting that your boy's an Old Bay fan. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about it. But I
Dude,
guess
on the French fries, on the broccoli.
put it on some eggs. You can. I mean, you can put that on a lot of. I just wrote on my
Nachos.
damn sweatpants with my pen. Son of a gun. But the other guy I wanted to talk about up front is your boy. You predicted he'd have a big breakout game. Tell me about Justin
92?
Madubuike. Yeah,
Hey,
tell me
man.
about him.
The kid was what I loved about all of them last night, but certainly you saw it coming through last night. Madubuike is just his motor was high. He looked strong. He looked explosive. He looked athletic, and he looked like he really cared. I mean, he was in there satisfied as can be making that play. That was a huge, huge play. Think about how quick he had to embarrass that offensive lineman to get there in time for that. I mean, everyone knows the play I'm referring to. Obviously, he literally hit the running back. I mean,
I thought he was taking the handoff, Jimbo.
Yeah, exactly. The ball was still in transition at that point, right?
Yep.
I mean, it was just incredible. I'm so not worried about the future of our guys up front.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got some old guys, but there is no doubt we got some talented young guys up there as
and
well.
Dalen Hayes isn't even playing right now.
I know. Wait till he's back. Because look, they lost Brandon Williams, around the same time they lost to Sean Elliott. It's the second, maybe third quarter. I can't remember off the top of my head. But those guys, they stepped up. The young guys stepped up in a big, big way. Obviously, Justin Ellis stepped up in a big way, big jelly. It's funny, on that Travis Kelce play where he broke pretty much our entire defense.
It was jelly.
It was jelly tackling him into the end zone. He ran all the way down
he put
there,
all
man.
Weight on him, too.
That's right. That's right. Let him feel him a little bit.
You're going to have to pay if you're getting here.
Absolutely. But look, there's no doubt that the team's got to get better tackling, right? I mean, they missed a lot of Pringle on that Pringle run, bad angles, poor tackling. Kelce seemed like every time he got the ball, he was making at least one or two guys miss. They've got to get better.
I swear, nobody can just put a lick on that guy. He
Travis?
doesn't look. Yeah, it's crazy because he doesn't look fast to me, right? He doesn't look like he's like got a ton of lateral explosiveness, but no one can just pop him one. Like, I feel like
he's just a smooth athlete, man.
Yeah,
he's a smooth athlete.
You're not wrong, but I can't stand him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
he's wearing the wrong jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's wearing red, so I don't mind if you can't stand him.
Sad last night, that's for sure. That makes me very happy.
He certainly did, no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, those guys up front, I think, really played well. Calais Campbell didn't really look. This isn't a team, the Kansas City Chiefs, that look to run the ball a ton. So it's not like really a game where some of those big the run stuffers can really show their stuff and show out. But I thought they definitely had moments where they there's a reason why the Chiefs weren't going back to that run. Not only is it not really what they do, but also they weren't really having much success at all on the ground. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was really bottled up all night long. We didn't see those runs from Pat Mahomes where, look, Lamar Jackson's obviously the greatest running quarterback ever, but Pat Mahomes will get it done with his legs too in big time situations, pick up big first downs here, big first down there. He only had 1 3-yard run last night. So they really did a great job of just bottling all those guys up and really just said, look, you're going to have to beat us through the air. And they nearly did, but they absolutely came up a little bit shy in that regard. But, they got to get better tackling. We can't let all these yak yards stack up. I'd love to see a stat total of their complete yak yards. I'm having trouble trying to find it, but I know it was a lot.
Yeah, and then just to add to that, everyone keeps bringing up Queen. And that's the one thing that I hate seeing about his game is that he seems to go after the football a lot, and that's fun, and that's like us. It's you get a turnover, it's a sexy stat, this, that, and the other. But sometimes you just gotta make a good tackle, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just that simple. You don't need to give up another 5-7 yards because you're arm wrestling with a guy. Just tackle him.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, look, Patrick Queen had some moments where he really struggled. I mean, look, he's a great athlete. He's very fast. He's quick to the ball, but he had some moments where he's struggling. Rob, you said I see you put Pat Queen is progressing well. He definitely ahead of Mosley. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one now, man. I think people are forgetting what Mosley. Come on now, he was a beast. He was an absolute beast. I know people, had their moments where they were frustrated with him, but. I think we're kind of forgetting exactly what he brought. But Ashified Gaming says, you think EDC has another trick up his sleeve, Jimbo? Anything?
I think he pulled out all the stops just to get the running backs we got, man. I mean, I don't know. And then I guess on top of that, like everyone, I see the scuttlebutt about Sherman. He's not a good fit here.
No.
Sherman is just not saying he's not a viable football player, a viable option for a team that he is a good fit for because he's a good football player.
Yeah.
We all know that. Anybody says otherwise is just salty or uninformed, right? But he is a relatively system dependent football player nonetheless. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I see it because I don't think we're going to get O-lineman. Now, here we go. Here's the trick that everyone's forgetting about. What's the boy's name? The right tackle with the torn Achilles that we picked up
Yeah, from
from the
Denver.
Broncos.
Yep, I can't remember his name, but
that was the
Juwan
trick.
James. Juwan James.
Yeah, because if he does come back this year, I mean, homeboy's a beast. If you
He
go
is,
back
but I mean, I don't know how anyone could predict him to come back.
But either way, whether it's this year or next year, that was to me that's a trick up EDC's sleeve that everyone is sleeping on, seemingly forget about. I think that's really going to solidify that line. But as far as this year goes, I don't think I see anything. Do you? I just don't know what else is there.
I think it's too early to start predicting this because really you got to wait to see what teams are out of it, what teams might be looking to offload an expensive, expiring contract, what kind of cap space. Because look, all these guys that are hurt, they're still counting against the cap. So it's not like, when Marcus Peters goes out, boom, there goes his cap number and we got a bunch of extra space. Now, so they're having to work with what they got left and there's not a ton left. But let me just say this with, I don't know why, but, I just want to bring up CJ Mosley as a rookie. He had 133 combined tackles. He had 3 sacks. Okay, I mean, the guy was an absolute monster. I mean, he had 2 picks. He had 2 picks, 3 sacks, 133 tackles. So, I mean, I like CJ Mosley. I mean, I like Patrick Queen, but to me, he's no CJ Mosley. And I know Mosley's been a disappointment since he's left, but when he was here, the guy was a beast. The guy was an absolute beast. And I think, I think. I just don't want to forget, what he brought. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about making a trade. The Jets look like they're about to hang it up. They're about done. Let's see if CJ has fully come back from them injuries and maybe we kick the tires on him and see what he's got. He wants to come home. But yeah, I mean, I would be surprised to see if the Ravens have any space to do much of anything. It would have to be that perfect scenario. But yeah, I think we're going to have to go with, but let's not forget, I think somebody said in the comments earlier, there's a lot of guys coming back that it's almost like they can make a trade in the sense that Bateman's still on his way back, right?
Yeah, people are forgetting. No one's talking about him.
Yeah, Nick Boyle is still on his way back. And I get that we're not, the biggest fans, but Miles Boykin's still on his way back. So there's a lot that is still coming back to this team that they don't need to do it via trade. They don't need to look on the scrap heap and just wait for these. They just need to wait for these guys to get back out there because I think there's no doubt that Bateman is going to make a huge difference once he's out there. We saw it when he was healthy. The guy is just he's just a difference-making looking player, at least from what I've seen. And obviously Nick Boyle has been a staple in our offense, and the things he can do will make this already talented run offense even better. So yeah, I mean, let's just wait and see what we get once these guys come back. But Jimbo, when you think about that game overall and kind of like how it all went. Does this give you confidence if the Ravens were forced to play the Chiefs, even if it was at Arrowhead in the playoffs late in the season? Do you now have the confidence, whereas you may not have before, that they can go in there and handle these guys?
Yeah, I do, but it's always down to one thing for me. Giro, don't lose yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't get caught up in the noise. Don't lose yourself. Last night we found ourselves. Look, when we saw Colon Castillo going out there, we saw what's his number 63. I think he is Colon Castillo 63, and then we saw Ricard in the backfield. We saw the heavy set on the 4th and 1. We saw goal line front stuff, heavy package. I mean, super size me type stuff in the middle of the field on the 25-yard line. You name it. And I'm not saying that's all we need to do, but that to me is Greg Roman accepting and leaning into and remembering our identity as a football team. So just don't lose it. Like, that's always my thing. Don't lose it. Who cares what it looks like, right? Look, a yard is a yard. Josh Harris said it himself. A yard is a yard, ladies and gentlemen, and it don't matter how you get it. A yard is a yard. So I have confidence.
Yeah.
Especially because our defense is looking like they're going to continue to get better. But offensively, I mean, look, that was a high-scoring game. and we played our game. That was Ravens offense, right? And we still put up 36 points. So it's not like we're just going to get outscored because we can keep up with them, right? But we can still play our ball. So yeah, it does give me some confidence. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's some other guys that are coming back that I've failed to mention that Christopher Shook and some other people are mentioning. I mean, Derek Wolf still hasn't played a down yet, right? He's coming back. Chris Westry will be back this season at some point. And so if they can beat them with a depleted group, in theory, if they can get some of these other guys healthy, then they're going to even be more of a formidable opponent than what the Chiefs saw this past Sunday. So I think and also just from a mental standpoint, a psychological standpoint, there's no doubt once you beat a team that you previously hadn't, that you're going to be in much better shape. And also, Jimmy Smith, we haven't seen Jimmy yet.
Yep.
I mean, we know the impact he makes on the team, and a secondary group that's really banged up. It's crazy. We went from having too many corners, Jimbo, that we had to offload guys to other teams to now. We only had really 3 active corners last night. It's really crazy how quickly things can change in the NFL. But Tim Ott says, beat KC, loss in overtime to Las Vegas with 15 on IR. How good do you think we'd be healthy? Scary. And I think I mentioned that to you last night, Jimbo. I looked over it and I said, just imagine if none of those injuries, just imagine if we were as healthy as Kansas City is, how bad. First of all, I'm now fully convinced it would have been, it would have been a pretty easily won game in both of these games, in my opinion. I know that the Vegas Raiders beat us, but we should have won that game. I mean, you're up by 3 with 30 seconds left, and they have no timeouts. You should have won that game. And then, but even still, coming out of the first 2 games, Jimbo, if I told you we were going to be 1-1,
right,
we couldn't be 2-2. We had to be 1-1. This is the way you'd want it to go, right? If you had to pick 1-1, you'd rather beat the Chiefs than the Raiders, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. So I have a ton of confidence that we're going to move. I mean, that this is a building block type game. Part of the reason I have that confidence too is because I think John is great at framing it that way. And their mentality that way. But JDub45 says, who's going to be our top running back? I think last night you saw that it's going to be Tyson. It's going to be Tyson as our top running back. But Latavius Murray's getting the job done too, doing his best impersonation of Gus the Bus out there. He's been a Raven for 8 days. He got 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think
that's what we do in Baltimore. Right? That's what we do in Baltimore. But can we get, you guys got to be better at the home stadium. Whoever's in charge of the big boards, show the man some respect, okay? Because every time, a Ravens player makes a play, in the corner big boards at the stadium, they put the player's face up there, they put his number, and they put his position up there to highlight the player. Every freaking time Latavius Murray made a play, they put up number 28, Richards, safety. And it was driving me crazy. It's not like this is just a first quarter thing and they went, oops. This was throughout the entire game, even in the fourth quarter. When Latavius Murray was getting carries, boom, it popped up. Jordan Richards, safety, number 28, with his picture. Please, guys, this isn't the other team. This is our team. You can't be wrong. You can't have the wrong freaking name up there.
And look, now they're mad at you for talking trash, and they're on you, dude. They're all over you. Glenn is having some technical difficulties. That's right. It's not me.
That was a robot.
Yeah, you were a robot. You're back now, though. No, you're back.
Yeah, but I can't hear you through my headset.
Oh, geez, Louise. Look, this is our second set of microphones that Glenn and I have gone through, man. It's pretty crazy stuff. But, that's because we're putting in the work, trying to be here for you guys. That's for sure. But so the one thing I'll say in addition to that is I want to talk about Greg Roman here. I know I talked about keeping our identity and things like that, but I want to move to the coaching staff because we talked about the offense a bit. We talked about the defense. I think that Andy Reid just got out-coached last night by John Harbaugh. I think that Steve Spagnuolo got out-coached last night by Greg Roman. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts as well. But, Glenn, we got you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, cool. So talk to me about that, Glenn, because I feel like Andy Reid's kind of had John's number.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only have, JH's number for so long. And then he'll get the in on you and he'll get the best of you. What was your take on John? I know not everyone in our chat is a big fan of John, and definitely not a big fan of Greg Roman.
Yeah.
But talk to me about it.
Oh, I mean, look, John Harbaugh had to get this team up and ready to play. The defending AFC champions, the perennial, the best team over the last 3 years has been the Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens lost twice in Vegas, right? I mean, they lost after they had the 3-point lead. They come back, they kick the game time field goal. They go down. We think they scored a touchdown. We get the intercept. They lose again. Really, it felt like 2 losses in one, right? And then they lost more key players. After already having 15 guys on the IR, they lose more key players, right? It's just, he had to get these guys up and ready to go, not have the defeated mentality. He had them up and ready to play with that intensity. And then it starts where Lamar throws a pick 6 on the 3rd play of the game, and he still had them boys not flinching, ready to go out there, ready to go out and ball. And then you talk about Greg Roman. I mean, all the key players that I'm sure he was envisioning, I mean, not all, but almost all of the key players he had, the new guys that he had plans for are out. They've been out. So it's like he had to make this up on the fly. I'm sure he didn't develop the passing game like he wanted to with Keith Williams, T. Martin, that he wanted to in the offseason because of the injuries. But he still found a way to go out there and put up 36 freaking points in a big, big game. And then Wink Martindale, look, he gave up 28 points. You don't want to see that. But in big moments, this team was absolutely huge. When they needed a stop, when they needed a punt, when they needed a turnover, the Ravens defense absolutely stepped up with a completely depleted group. So, I mean, every coach deserves an absolute shout out, no doubt about it. They weren't perfect, but they got the job done. They played Ravens football. And yeah, like they're saying, they just didn't flinch. And of course, you got to always give shout out to the special teams group. Once again, flawless, which is what we come to expect. But it is pretty crazy that, we take it for granted, but, they have to be perfect or we're going to bash them. And they were perfect yet again. So, I mean, all 3 phases, I think the Ravens were the better team. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, if you take away that pick, look, he threw a pick in the red zone. That was 3 points off the board as far as I'm concerned. And he threw him 7. So you take those 10 points and you kind of take 7 away from that 3. I know we can't do that, but all I'm saying is that outside of the mistakes that were self-inflicted, I mean, I think this game, so shout out to the coaches, shout out to the players, absolutely phenomenal. And I think the monkey off the back was, it's like John said, the game's going to mean more, or it's going to mean different things for every individual person. It's going to mean different to Lamar than it is for everyone else. It's going to mean different to John, like you said, than it is for everyone else. But either way, it's a big win no matter who you are.
Yeah, the one thing I will say that I am hoping improves is the timing of the play. And this has been an issue, I feel like, since 2019. We've seen Lamar getting the play in. We've seen Lamar over there like, Greg, come on, like let's get it going. And we saw a little bit of that last night. They had to expend 2 timeouts in order to get the play in and get all that taken care of. So I certainly hope that communication improves and we can get some continuity there and move with a little bit more fluidity. And hopefully I'd like to see us run with a little more pace as well, so those teams can make substitutions. But at the end of the day, I just don't want to burn timeouts. Like, if nonetheless, let's not burn timeouts. So that is the one area where at that point in the game, you better believe it, I was cursing Greg Roman out the best way I know how when that was going on. I think Glenn's struggling here.
I'm back, bro.
He's back.
I lost you, so I didn't hear what you said, but I'm back.
I was just talking about the one thing that I think Greg would need to improve on is that point in the game when we had to use the timeouts for the play calls.
I was and Lamar was frustrated. Get the damn call in. We wasted 2 timeouts in a game that it really could have come down to those 2 timeouts, and luckily it didn't. But no doubt about it. But you know what? People are here talking about it, and we haven't talked enough about. How about our guy Hollywood? Hollywood has absolutely showed it. He didn't even think he was going to play. He said it in the comments. Did not think he was going to be able to get in the game today. He's been banged up, dealing with injuries. he doesn't just play, Jimbo. This guy has been absolutely balling. He had an 88.7 rating last night after the game. He's the third highest rated receiver in the National Football League behind Cooper
Mm.
Kupp, and I can't remember the other guy. The guy has been absolutely unbelievable, and the chemistry is obviously there between him and Lamar. I don't think that's ever going to go away, and we're just seeing more from Hollywood, right? We're not just seeing the one trick. If you can't run by you, then we can't see you. He's just doing so much more. He's got more yards after catch. It's just a totally different feel from Hollywood this year than we have in years past. So shout out to him. I think he's making himself some. We talk about Averett making himself some money. I think Hollywood's making himself a nice, pretty paycheck as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And honestly, just like other players, I don't know how many we can keep. We just paid Mark. We got to pay Lamar. We got to pay Hollywood. We got to pay. I mean, I know he's literally a rookie, but these things come up fast. You're talking if Bateman pans out, a lot of these other guys. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see what that whole thing looks like. But yeah, man, balled out. Love to see it. And Glenn, the best part is exactly what you said, is the myriad of ways in which he is affecting the game, right? He's not a one-trick pony anymore. No. He's getting the rock on the slants. He's getting the rock on the intermediate stuff, on the underneath stuff. He's turning up field. He's getting more aggressive. He still nosedives. You said it last night. He did his best impersonation of Marvin Harrison. But look, that's all right. If he's hurt, we need him out there. I don't need you, taking a lick for, another 3 inches worth of a line of scrimmage. So certainly, I mean, I'm all right with it, but he is getting more aggressive and it seems to be turning up field quicker. So that's exciting stuff. Definitely showing some improvement in his game. But I want to talk about our competition, Glenn. I think that you were taking stats, and I think we've determined a winner. First of all, I just want to say, last week, as you guys know, we have our weekly competition. In order to take part in the competition, you only have to do 3 things. You have to sub to the channel, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Once you do that, all of our previous shows will have a weekly competition that will contain over/under categories. Get those right, you win, and then we have 2 scores that are total points, and then 1 other category that we determine that week of. So you got to give exact scores there. That's to help make sure we only have 1 winner. Last week it was Troy. Troy, if you're watching the show, hit us up on DM us on Twitter or DM us on Instagram, so that way we can get your information and send you the shirt. Or Facebook, exactly. But who was our winner this week, Glenn?
This was a tough one. Came down to a couple close ones, but the winner is in our chat right now, and it is anonymous YouTuber. So congratulations.
Let's go.
Anonymous YouTuber was only 1 off in total yardage. So he damn near nailed the total yardage. He got 3 out of the 4 over-unders correct. So this week, and he barely edged out Adam 78. So Adam, keep at it.
Yeah.
You're right there. But absolutely, anonymous YouTuber won the championship, or won the competition. And in our personal competition between me, Jimbo, and DK finally got dethroned. Jimbo took the seat in the throne, and he is the new show champion right now. Yes, wear your crown proudly, Jimbo. You deserve it. But yeah, so anonymous YouTuber, don't put it in the chat right here because that's probably irresponsible. But send us a DM either on Twitter, Instagram, or on Facebook, your address and your shirt size, and we'll definitely get one out to you. So congratulations. If you guys want to participate in our competition, check out our preview episodes that we do when it's just me, Jimmy, and DK. Obviously watch the one we're going to have with the opposing team's media member as well, which we're efforting to get done right now. Yep. But the competition is going to be on our preview show when it's just me and Jimbo. So, but shout out to the anonymous YouTuber.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Congrats. Hopefully many more, right? We need.
Oh, and by the way, just so they are, I mean, we need someone to take over the title. But just so you guys know, the over-unders were Andrews went over 40.5 yards receiving. Lamar Jackson had over 320 total yards. The passing yards allowed, we were under 350. And sacks, we went under 3.5. So we had some interesting ones there. I think the sack one, maybe I was a little bit too ambitious thinking we'd get over 3.5 sacks, but we ended up with 0. But of course, that almost sack was
Lots of
even
pressures,
better
though.
than a sack. So yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Odafe, keep getting close, baby. Keep getting close.
Look at this. My
I love it.
goodness.
Love it all.
You know what? You know what? Look, all I know is Adafe's got something for you because look, we play good teams. Wait till we play a stinker and he puts up 3 or 4 in one game.
I don't know how many.
Speaking of a stinker, we're playing the Lions this week, and they are 0-2 if I'm correct, and I think they just lost their running back, so we certainly know what that's like. But yeah, we got some episodes coming up to cover that, no doubt about it. But yeah, man, I mean, just you know what? Shout out to the Ravens fans for giving them a hard time, but I didn't see any videos popping up where fans are fist fighting. I didn't see anybody getting knocked out in the stands. So shout out to everyone for cheering. Okay.
In fact, quite the contraire, my friend. I did see a video. I did see a video of a salty Kansas City fan that took water and poured it all over a Ravens fan because he was cheering, bro. And he poured the water all over him. The dude just went like this, like he was going to sprinkle like a 5-year-old. Yeah, just loving it, dude. Wanting all of it. Like, let's go. It was so awesome, dude. I love to see it. Just all the energy, man. It was awesome. But yeah, you're right. There was really because I was a little nervous when we were in the concourse leaving that we were going to start maybe seeing some pushing and shoving. It was close quarters, people talking, lots of chanting, lots of flags going. I didn't see any of it.
No, absolutely. And they're saying in the chat that was Pat Mahomes' brother. I don't know if this is a joke or if this is serious, but wow, Pat Mahomes' brother getting salty in it. I mean,
oh my God, bro.
We may have to turn to Google, but if that's the case,
I'm gonna check it right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a punk move, man. That's a chump move. I mean, look, Pat Mahomes gets enough glory. He's got enough W's. You got to learn how to lose one, okay? I mean, my goodness. What a clown. So, well, let's hope they if next time they're in Baltimore, let's bring the Super Soakers out and let's give this guy a bath in the stands. Because that's no good. But I'm glad the guy whoever
it's reported on NBC. It was Jackson Mahomes.
I love that his name is Jackson.
That's
kind of funny. That's kind of funny. His name is Jackson. That is kind of good.
Brother, look, Pat's got to call him and be like, what's up, Jack? What's up, Jack? He can't even stop thinking about Lamar if he wanted to, bro.
That's right. That's absolutely right. But yeah, shout out to all the fans. And you know what was cool too? They knew when to be quiet. It's like, fans, there's times you cheer. There's times you save your voice a little bit. You don't need to be screaming on first down from the 20. You got to save it for those big moments, third down. And also, offensively, when the team's on the field, we didn't have a bunch of people screaming where the team needed to quiet everyone down because they couldn't hear and make calls. Smart Ravens fans knowing when and when not to scream your head off.
Isn't it funny how much can get done, how quickly things can get done when we're just working together? Think about it. That was like what, like 74, 77,000 people, whatever it is. All of a sudden, decimals harmony. Just.
Yep.
Absolutely. It was incredible. So cool to see.
It was so cool. Yeah, no doubt. And then Flo Rida doing the concert at halftime. That was pretty cool. Shout out to Jacoby.
Harry was having the time of his life, wasn't he, dude?
And he wasn't the only one. People were getting down in that stadium. Let me tell you. There were some people getting down in that stadium. So shout out to all them and yeah, Jacoby being there certainly helped hype the crowd up. Lamar or Ray being there obviously had the place shaking. I felt like the ground was shaking beneath my feet. And
I'll forever ever if the Ravens ever sign Pringle, the wide receiver that scored that touchdown, I will never like him because you don't get in the end zone and disrespect a legend by doing the squirrel dance. You don't do that, especially I don't care what the score is. I don't care what the context is. You got to respect the legends, man. That's just disrespectful.
Yep.
Like certain things are off limits.
Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, that's just a clown move, man. It's a clown move. He's lucky he didn't see Ray out at the limos.
I know. Yeah. And that's the crazy thing, man. You're picking on a guy who's, you're making fun of a guy, basically disrespecting the guy. How old is he now? And look, and if he walked up to you, he'd still put the fear of God in you.
He'd fold him right up. Fold him
Like,
right up,
man,
Jimbo.
that really burned me, but that put a bee in my bonnet. I tell you what. Jeez.
Stop
Jeez,
with
oh
the bee
whiz.
in my
But I want to
bonnet.
do this really quickly again before we go. I
Yeah.
want to know, encapsulate this for me.
Mhm.
2 things good that you want the Ravens to take from this game, and 2 things that you want them to improve. So give me your 2 good things. I'll give you my 2 good things, and then we'll do the same thing with areas they need to improve and areas they need to improve. So 2 things you want them to take from this game and use it moving forward.
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing offensively is stick with whatever game plan got you here. Stick with whatever gets you the most success, right? So it doesn't seem to matter much, at least from what we're seeing early on. It doesn't matter a ton who's back there as far as which running back is back there, because we run for 250. What did we run for? Let's see. Ran for 251 yards, right? I mean, Tyson Williams being our lead back in that 251 yards. So my point is, I don't care if Devonta Freeman gets sent back to the practice squad and we call it Lev Bell. I don't really care who's back there, but we need to see a lot of carries from our running backs. We just got to stick to that.
Can I get you a timeout real quick?
What's up?
Timeout. Troy's in the chat, so we got to let Troy know. Troy, bro, you're in the chat. You won the week 1 competition. Hit us up.
Yeah.
DM us. DM us on Twitter, Facebook, or where's the other one? Instagram. And send us over your shirt size and your address. We'll send you the shirt. We won week 1. Sorry, I cut off your flow there, but I wanted to get to him because
no, that's good.
I want to get him his gear.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep seeing him in here, but haven't gotten that DM yet. So yeah, absolutely. But on the ground, you got to stay doing your thing on the ground. That's my thing offensively. Keep doing what you do on the ground. And then pick and choose when you hit them in the air, because I think Lamar did a great job at that as well. But then defensively, I loved their focus on Tyreek Hill. I love the fact that they took that guy out of this game. I talked about it last week. I said, stop Darren Waller. Don't let him wreck the whole game. And the same can be said for Tyreek Hill. And they did so on Tyreek Hill. They did not stop Darren Waller. They just had no answer for the guy. So I love the fact that they took away, in my opinion, their best option. And I want to see that going forward. Let's say, look, you're not going to beat us with your best option. You're just not going to do it. I don't want to see a situation where we go in, like next week. I don't want to see Hawkinson being our the guy who kills us all week, because right now, when I just look at that team from a kind of take a step back and look at it, to me, that's the guy that worries me. The tight end Hawkinson is a young guy. He's growing. He's getting into his game, and I think he's going to be the focal point, certainly in the red zone of their offense. So let's see this continuing. Let's take away the team's best option. Look, I know there's some teams that have a bunch of options, and the Chiefs are one of them, as we saw from Kelsey. But I think they took away the best option. So I want to see that going forward. Offensively, I want to see the run game continue to do what they do, and let's lean on that run game and allow it to create opportunities in the pass. And then defensively, take away that best option. Stop what they want. We know that they want to do. And let's see if they can play left-handed.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that strategically that makes a ton of sense. And my first one, there's no real strategy that goes with it. And I know this is really difficult to do. But last night we played like our lives were on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I mean, it was a playoff, sudden death atmosphere right there in that game. And so my number one thing that I want to take away from this game is the mindset. Play like you have everything to, like, your career's on the line. Like, this is your last game. Like, this is it. Leave it all out there. Empty the tank. That's number one. And I know there's not much strategy to that, but I do think, once again, it makes a big difference in the game, especially in the game of football. The second thing would be, you just got to clean it up. We got to clean it up when it comes to the turnovers. I know both of these are offensively, but I would say all around, got to clean it up there. Got to clean it up with the play calls. Those two things are our big ones. So if we can clean things up and play like our hair's on fire, we are a hard team to stop, period. Right.
Yeah.
And then, so why don't you give us, if you got two things that you want us to take from, oh wait, I just gave you something we need to improve on.
Yeah. You went a little, that's okay though. That's all right.
Let me give my other thing I want to carry away from this game.
Okay.
And this is just one player, but it's Odafe Oweh's confidence. Take it and build on it. On to the next, on to the next. And look, I'll willingly eat that Mike cover. I'll willingly eat it if you take that confidence and build on it. So those
He's
are the
saying
two
that
things.
now. When he gets to 8-9 sacks, we ain't gonna be hearing this rooting for him business. We're gonna be hoping he turns an ankle. I know it.
No, none of that.
Okay, all right, that's cool. All right, well, yeah, as long as
Look,
it
I'm a
doesn't get to that
diehard
point.
fan. You see, die hard.
Yeah, because yeah. But as far as what I think they need to work on, I talked about it earlier. But defensively, you got to tackle better. We can't have these guys breaking 3, 4, 5, and some of the effort was pathetic when it came to the tackling. I thought there was some business at least it looked from the outset like some business decisions were made. Tavon Young certainly made one at one point in that game when trying to take on Kelsey. So you gotta get guys on the ground. You can't just let these guys keep running. I mean, it just seemed like bad angles were taken. I remember Malik Harrison took a horrible angle on a crossing route where he was coming from the opposite side. The crosser was coming this way, and the guy got right by him because he just went too deep. I mean, it was just a horrible angle. So you got to get better at tackling. Queen has absolutely got to, Queen went so high. Remember that was it Pringle? I don't even know who it was. I think it was Robinson or Pringle. Just put their shoulder right in his chest and pushed him damn near into the end zone. Got him out to 2. You got to get lower. You got to have a better, you got to have a lower center of gravity.
Better
you can't
technique,
go so
stronger
high.
base.
I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. You cannot go so high. But one thing people and King of Pugo, I think, said it first. We almost left without talking about these damn referees and their red jerseys underneath them striped jerseys.
Yeah.
Some of those calls were absolutely bullshit. I mean,
they were literally invented.
How do you call a legal receiver downfield from the 2-yard line when the guy fell into the end zone after he was engaged in a block? I mean, it was an inconsequential play. I mean, talk about the spirit of the rule. You don't just, I mean, it did not affect the play at all, and it took 2 points off the board where they all of a sudden didn't need a field goal to tie. They needed a field goal to go and take the lead and win the game. I mean, the referees were absolutely horrendous. There were so many holding calls that were missed from their offensive line. Big Slow was grabbing for his life. I mean, Odafe Oweh and Justin Houston were getting held consistently in that game, and Pernell McPhee as well. I mean, it was just absolutely frustrating. I was screaming. I mean, there was some loud boos in that stadium when the Ravens were on offense, and they weren't directed to the offensive players. And the same can be said when the Ravens were on deep. There were some loud boos. They were directed to them zebras. I mean, the refs were absolutely horrendous. Now, thank goodness that Odafe forcing that fumble kind of took the ball out of their hands and because it just seemed like if even the Ravens were going to get a third down stop, it didn't matter because the refs were just going to give them. And some of the flags came in so damn late and across the whole side of the field. Oh, it had me crazy. And what it did was something you never want to do. Every time there was a good play, I didn't celebrate for the first 2 seconds because I had to look around and see if there was any laundry on the field. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. We were both just perplexed by some of these calls. I mean, now it ended up being a hell of a play. When Nick Moore, the long snapper, ended up, grabbing the guy and holding him. Thank goodness he did it. That was the only good call of the game that I was happy about because that punt was definitely getting blocked. Other than that, I thought a lot of these calls were absolute BS. Tim Oates says Oweh was being held when he knocked the ball out. Absolutely,
he's right. That's the only way he got because
he
only got one hand there.
That's it. He was being grabbed. The left guard was desperate. He had no chance, and so he just reached out and grabbed him. But man, it makes me absolutely crazy.
Ridiculous, man.
The good thing is it didn't cost them the game, and I'm sure, like John said, they're going to need some clarification on some of these, and hopefully the league can at least admit to them that there was some issues there and there was some bad interpretations of the rule. Sick Kicks Always Global said this man is speaking facts. Refs, shame on all of you.
Yeah,
hey, man. And where'd you go, Jimbo? You disappeared on me. Were you writing a scathing letter to the referee committee?
That's exactly what I was doing. I had to pay the water bills. My grandfather used to say when he'd go to the John, gotta go pay the old water bill. Gotta pay BG&E.
Got you.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, take care of business there for a second. But I'll tell you what, I was listening to you, and I 1,000% agree. We were sitting next to each other at the game, and man, that was really frustrating. I said last night, it really, really, really felt like the refs. They had the FIFA selection committee there. I'll tell you what, it felt like they had the FIFA referees there too, boy.
It sure did.
My gosh, it was ridiculous. I couldn't get over it. John, I think still the Ravens, the entire world deserves an explanation on that Zeitler call. And then some. So yeah, absolutely. It was a terrible job. Terrible job.
Yeah, so get it together. I think it was that Cleet Blakeman? I think it was Cleet Blakeman was the head referee.
I'm not sure. But you know what else I noticed? I watched that play from Odafe like way too many times. It just makes me happy. Did you see? I don't know if you can do this. Edwards-Helaire, when he fumbled, he tried to pick it up with his feet. It looked like, I don't know, he got a little dirty to me, man. I felt like he was trying to kick somebody. I didn't like that too much. And I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on anybody, but if you go back and watch that play with Edwards-Helaire, when he fumbled it, and he went past the ball, he turned around. It looked like he was either trying to pick it up with his feet or he's trying to put some cleats on somebody's hands.
No, he was desperate at that point.
Desperate.
He was a desperate man. He knew what he had just done. It was at that point he knew he'd fucked up. It was basically where it was there. Tim Ott says, y'all should do remote pregame shows from the bank. I think we would definitely like to do that. We just got to get we got to first of all, we got to get season tickets. I mean, we have yet to get that. But we got to get more tickets. We got to get.
Hey, you guys keep the super chats up. We'll do whatever you guys want.
Yeah, we certainly will. There's no doubt about it. We would love to do more from that. And we'd love to just have a bigger presence in the tailgate in general. There's no doubt about it. Like to get kind of but this is all growing, guys. We're all growing together. So we'll certainly continue. Don C, I know I'm a little fired up tonight, man, using inappropriate language. But look, tonight is not made for kids. I'm going to put that on the thing here. This is not a show that belongs on kids' YouTube. This one's just for the grown-ups tonight. But yeah, I mean, I think we've encapsulated that game, right? We're ready to move on, ready to turn the page, as they say.
And this week
to Detroit. That's
right, on to Detroit, and we already got one guest locked up. We're looking for another. Well, we're working on getting another, and we feel pretty confident he'll come on. But yeah, Max McGee. Wait, where's Max McGee? I gotta get this right because I don't want to get it wrong, and I don't want to say it's his competitor. So hold on, real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, Herb Jones. Yeah, I know. I try not to curse too much on here, but I know some people wanted to hear a little bit more of the raw emotion. So I did let some out, but
look at Living Legend helping us out, bro. $5 at a time,
man,
baby.
Appreciate it, Living Legend. J-Dub, Big Slow is Big O.
That's right.
Yeah, it ain't Big O no more. It's Big Slow, Big Sloppy.
Slow.
Wearing 57, looking like a fool. And by the way, just in case you guys are wondering, that jersey, Jimbo,
it's on its way.
Okay.
It's on its way. It's somewhere. The thing is, we went cheap. We bought it from someone off because I found it $20 cheaper, and it's stuck in New York.
Which, by the way, I couldn't find it anywhere cheaper than $120, and I just couldn't. So Jimmy, did some digging and may have gotten it from some sort of a bootleg site. Let's just call it what it is, and maybe that's why it's taken a little bit to get here. But look, I'm not spending $120 on some damn jersey. I'm just going to trash.
It's on the container ship from China.
Okay,
and then exactly. They're going to drop it off in Yonkers, New York, and then it's going to be on its way down here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll wear it eventually. I'm sorry I didn't have it for the pre or post of this game. Because I would have certainly wore it and laughed my way through it, especially after the win. But it's on the way, and I'll be wearing it in one of these shows. Shout out to Will Alton, $5 for hashtag tickets. Appreciate it. Oh, Tim Otts, appreciate you as well. One more for the tickets. Appreciate that.
Look, and I want to say we got Max McGee on. He's a sports and news anchor for CBS. You guys have probably seen him on. He does a show with. He does a segment with Torrey Smith as well. He's going to be on Wednesday to talk some Ravens talk. And then we're hoping you guys, if you've been following the show, Jeff Risdon, who, has been gracious to us from day one. Appreciate that, Will. he does the Browns wire and the Lions wire. Now he only does the Lions wire. We're hoping to line up a time with him as well to talk about this matchup from a Lions perspective. And Jeff always gives it to us real. If he doesn't think his team's going to win, he doesn't say they're going to win. So it'd be interesting to get his take. But I think we should get the shout outs here, Glenn. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Troy, don't forget.
Overall, shout out to everyone in the super chats tonight, right?
Yeah, shout out to the generosity. We certainly appreciate it. Definitely appreciate all the love.
Super humbling, honestly, guys, that you guys make us a part of your night and get value out of this. It's extremely humbling. We don't take it for granted. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. So shout out to McDiamond. McDiamond is really wants everyone to know you got to pass. You got to pass to beat the Chiefs, and you definitely have to have timely passing. But let me remind you, the Ravens still had more rushing yards than they had passing yards, so it's still and Lamar Jackson once again went over 100.
It's a harmony. I do agree. It's a harmony.
I agree. Yeah, I mean it's not like you can only run, but I'm just saying you can't get away from what makes you the Ravens. You definitely look. There's no doubt that there's times just like last year and this year that they just say you're not going to run the ball. We're going to send more guys into the box than you can block. And you got to be able to have an efficient enough passing game to back those guys off and make them respect you. So they definitely work in harmony. There's no doubt about that, McDiamond. Herb Jones, appreciate your support and always coming out here. Zeke Hokage, let's see. Oh, the bank was live. The bank was live, Zeke. It was loud. It was crazy. Don C, always hyping up the likes. Appreciate you always coming out and showing us support. Fabian, appreciate you coming. Yes, I did have a couple adult beverages, and Jimmy can tell you, I got there at 5 o'clock, and I cracked a beer, and there was a shot in my hand from a very nice person at the tailgate who I don't remember her name. So
she was the shot caller. That's her name.
Yeah, she's the shot caller. They were trying to get me a little pickled last night. And I saw a little worry in Jimbo's eyes. I was starting to worry. I thought Jimmy was like, oh no, here we go. So I did have a few adult beverages in me, and I certainly shared the wealth. Prince Quan says, damn, Pat McAfee even made a what about?
A video about the ref saying someone owes the world an explanation. Totally true. 100%.
Absolutely. It was bullshit. It was BS. I'll keep it a little bit more PG there. But yeah, let me get... Yeah, Eric G, appreciate. We talked about Jackson. We're not even going to call him Jackson Mahomes from now on. He's just going to be known as Jackson.
Jackson.
Because we like saying
he's going to be called No Action Jackson. Oh,
there it is. That's pretty good. I like that. Brandon Thompson, thanks for coming out and showing us. Marcel Allen, you as well. Appreciate you coming out. Nana, of course. Got to see Nana. Yes, got a birthday hug on Nana yesterday.
That's right.
Which is always awesome seeing her. J-Dub, thanks for coming out. Anonymous
practicing
YouTuber,
the dad jokes, Fabian.
Yeah, yeah, he's got a lot of them. Anonymous YouTuber, don't forget to jump into our DMs if you haven't already done so we can get you that shirt. Same with you, Troy. AJC Senior, appreciate you coming out.
Yep.
We'll be back soon, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We got some great guests coming up for you this week. So keep it with us, and hopefully my voice will be back to a little bit more closer to normal once we see you guys again.
See you. Oh, this is